Haribol, and welcome to Lesson 7 of Basic Mridanga Instruction. My name is Abhijit, and I'll be your instructor today. So if you've made it this far, and you've been practicing everything that you've learned up until this point, then you are now capable of playing in about 75% of a typical kirtan. Congratulations, that's a good achievement. Now, what is that other 25% that I'm talking about? Well, you're about to start learning that today. Now, in a typical kirtan, it starts off slow, and then during that slow part, you'll play rhythms that we've already learned. For example, ta, kita, gege, or perhaps the Prabhupada ta. Then when it gets a little bit faster, you might be playing either those original mantras a little bit faster, or you might play them twice as fast in what we call double time. But then, that last exciting hurrah, that last part of the kirtan, where everybody's dancing and jumping up and down, that is the part we're going to start learning today, what you haven't learned yet. Now, up till now, all of the mantras we've learned, all of the rhythms we've learned, have been in multiples of 4. Ta, kita, gege, and Prabhupada tal, and all those other derivatives of those, are all in multiples of 4. They're either 8 beats, or 16 beats in the case of the Prabhupada tal, or even 4 beats in the case of the double time keta kiti gita. But in the end of the kirtan, where everybody's really energized and dancing and jumping, that is usually a consequence of the change of meter from multiples of 4 to multiples of 3. And you'll see often in popular music that really has a dance groove. It's usually in a multiple of 3. One type of slow dance, for example, in Western music is called the waltz, which is in a time signature of 3/4. There are other examples, but the point is that 3 and multiples of 3 really add a different kind of energy. And so today we're going to start learning a new type of mantra in multiples of 3. So it's a very simple mantra on paper, but what's very critical about it is the timing. The timing is what makes it special and what makes it really energetic. The mantra couldn't be simpler. I'll just lay it out for you right now. Ta kita ke, ta kita ke, ta kita ke, ta ge ta ge dha. That's it. Now, if you had no information on timing, you might play it like this. Ta ke ta ke ta ke ta ke ta ke ta ke ta ke. Now, that demonstrates there's absolutely no information on timing. But it's very important to preserve the timing and preserve it accurately. Then you'll get the results you want. And then it'll really sound nice. So I'm going to play and say the mantra, and we're going to practice it for a couple rounds. But let me just practice it once for now. Now, this whole mantra occupies 24 beats. So count in your head if you can. Ta, ke, 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 ta. Again. Ta, ke, 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 ta. Now, if you're going to play it continuously, there's one small exception that you have to put in here. The first cycle of the mantra always begins with ta. But when you play the second cycle and onwards, you replace that ta with a dha, with 2 hands. That really gives it a very nice pronounced effect. So we're going to now play it cyclically and continuously for a little bit to practice. Ta, ke, 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 ta. Now, I'd like to show you a little bit of how this sounds when you sing with it. Now, when you hear it, I'm sure you'll recognize where it comes from and how it really adds energy to the end of the kirtan. We're gonna practice this with Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, this was a 24-beat variation of these mantras that we play in multiples of 3. Now I'm going to show you that one that is 12 beats, only half the length. This is when you have when you just play the first line and then you play the last line. In other words, ta kita kit ta gida gida, ta kita kit ta gida gida. So I'll show you a couple of cycles of how this sounds. Ta kita kit ta gida gida, kita gida gida, kita gida kita gida. Now, the simplest variation, which people normally switch to at the very end, is simply ta ge 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 ta ge. See, nothing to it. Now, one final thing I'm going to show you is how sometimes we intensify this. Sometimes we intensify it by doubling up on the K's or the G's. I'm going to show you from the first mantra from this installment, the first mantra, which was the 24-beat one. If you double up on the K's and the G's, you intensify it. Ta ke ta ke